All right. Whew. I think we're gonna try this. Whew. I am right now in Zadar, Croatia. It's a interesting spot to be. But like always, on a Wednesday, I got one big thing on my to-do list, and that is sitting down in front of this camera and talking about something, at least, that interests me and that has been impacting my life. And that, this time, is the fact that the problem is probably deeper. Now, what does that mean? What am I saying here? What I mean by that is that a lot of times when someone approaches looking at an addiction, or just, you might not even call it an addiction in the situation where you're just trying to simply do less of something, or maybe it is doing more of something at the same time. Breaking bad habits, building up great new ones. You might tend to look at the problem, the thing that needs solved, as the addiction itself, the bad action itself. But I'm here to say that in most situations, that's actually not where you need to put your focus on. Of course, there still needs to be some attention to it, and I'll speak about that later, but there is most likely something deeper that needs your attention way more than the surface level. It needs to be fixed because it is a problem that is forming from the root. Now, here's what I mean. I'm going to give you an example that I like to take. If you are addicted to caffeine, and now this might be a little bit of a controversial topic because a lot of people love their coffee in the morning, but let's take someone who literally cannot function unless they have caffeine in the morning, whether it's an energy drink, coffee, whatever it is. They need caffeine in order to function in the morning. Now, is them drinking too much caffeine the problem? You might say, yeah, I think it is. But really, it is simply the action, the distraction from a symptom that is coming up. Why does anyone drink caffeine? It is to get rid of emotion. Now, this is a little controversial because maybe people don't think of tiredness as an emotion, but I would say being tired is an emotional state you could be in. I have little cactus needles. If you can see behind me, there's a little cactus guy. And I just did a crouch into one of them, and so I got little needles in my knee. I think I got them all. Wait, there's one more. Ah, there we go. All right. Now, the caffeine isn't the problem itself. It is simply the distraction that is going to cover up the symptom that is the actual problem. Well, what is the actual problem? You feel tired. And tired is an emotion, I would say. Because, the fact that caffeine works in and of itself kind of shows that being tired is an emotion, because all that caffeine does is go in and block the receptors that should tell you when you're tired. Now, in this way, you feel more awake. You aren't tired anymore. You get the result that you wanted, and you move on. But at a more scientific level, you don't actually get more energy. You are just using more of the little supply that you had. Because if you are using caffeine in substitute of not getting enough sleep, then it's simply going to, you aren't going to get more sleep from taking caffeine. Caffeine isn't a one-to-one substitute for sleep, but it does give you the same result in the fact that it doesn't make you as tired anymore. Great. But I would say the problem there for this particular person, this hypothetical situation we're bringing in, isn't the caffeine at all. It's the fact that they are tired. And you can achieve being awake in an awake state many different ways. You can take caffeine, you can take cocaine, you can get in a cold shower, or you could get more sleep. There are many different ways to jumpstart your brain, but and all of them basically achieve the same thing. It gets rid of the emotion of being tired, but there's only truthfully one that actually works, that actually solves the symptom. It's getting more sleep. Getting the right amount of sleep, better said. Because if you take caffeine, well, the tiredness is going to continue to come back. It's going to continue to pop up because the problem hasn't been solved, it's just been redirected. It's just been put off until another time. Now, caffeine is one thing that maybe some people struggle with, or maybe wouldn't say they struggle with, it's part of life. But look at everything in this world, because I'm here to tell you, we have to have some sort of a understanding of how addictions affect people, of how to navigate a world full of addictive substances, addictive things, addictive actions, because we live in one. I mean, the little device that everyone carries around has thousands of different apps that are all trying to get you addicted, whether it be TikTok or a gambling app or simply some kind of stupid game. They all have one goal: is get you to stay as long on their app so that they get more money from advertisements, whatever it is. And they do that through getting you addicted, making sure that you have to come back to get that feeling. Now, they aren't creating the symptom itself. The symptom comes from something else. And it's a wide variety. Just how we talked about the symptom of a caffeine addict or a caffeine overuser isn't just the fact that they need caffeine, it's the fact that they don't get enough sleep, and so they feel tired and they need to escape from this feeling of being tired. The one thing that I would say is this world has too many people who are just too open to escape from something, too open to just ignore the emotion rather than feeling it. We have become a society that isn't really prone to having a bad time. If we feel bad, we just take something that covers it up instead of feeling the emotion. Now think about this. What is an emotion for? Why do we feel the way we do? Because it's telling us something needs to change. Something needs to happen. Something isn't working here. Or maybe if it's a positive emotion, something working really well here. We got to keep putting effort into this. If you just cover it up, you basically throw away your body's way of knowing what's right and what's wrong, what needs to change. I'll tell you what, if you didn't have the opportunity to ever drink any caffeine, and you didn't have any other wake up substance, you would probably eventually just end up getting better sleep. Because who wants to be tired all the time? No one does. Everyone complains about being tired, but it's more so just this consistent tiredness of not getting enough sleep and using caffeine to substitute that for the moment. But as soon as that wears off, well, the problem still stands. And I know I've been picking on caffeine overusers a lot, but this goes for literally anyone. Someone who's on their phone too much, someone who smokes cigarettes or drinks alcohol. Any kind of addiction can be explained in this way. There is a deeper reasoning for drinking of the alcohol. The only reason I pick caffeine in this example as this hypothetical is because I think it's quite easy to understand that for someone using caffeine, the symptom is lack of sleep. But for something where it's alcohol or it's phone usage, finding what the symptom truthfully is going to be different for every person, every situation. There's no truthful one symptom that's causing a phone addiction or causing alcoholism. But understanding that there's something deeper there, more than just doing the thing, that's where you need to put your focus on. Because if you don't if you don't fix that thing at the source, start doing the actions that are helping fix that root problem, well, the addiction isn't ever going to go away because it's just so useful. If you try to quit caffeine and yet you still sleep the exact same way you did before, well, you're still going to feel tired, and eventually, well, that caffeine's going to seem easier than changing your entire sleep schedule. Of course it is. That's why addictions work, is because they're simpler than making the change. They're simpler than putting in the effort. That's why this whole system is very, very profitable. People would rather give money to have the quick fix than to sit down and figure out the change for themselves. You know, I'm a part of this system too. I've definitely done some things that contribute to this, but I try to keep myself aware of the fact of, okay, when I have an issue, am I going, let's say it's a health issue, am I just going to the over-the-counter medication to fix it? Or am I actually taking time to understand what this problem means and fix it at a deeper level? Because getting sick, sure, might seem like something that just happens. And of course it does. You can't ever 100% avoid being sick. But it means something. It means something probably needs to change if you get sick more often than the average person. You probably need to change something. Diet, exercise, sleep, social environments even. Something needs to happen. Now the thing is, at the same time, we can't completely focus on the symptom, the root cause, because if we do that, well, the addiction's just going to stay there. We do have to put some pressure on quitting an addiction. Let's take a phone addiction, for example. If we just say, well, okay, I have this root cause. Let's say the root cause is just not getting enough social time or enough quality social time. Okay, I have to fix this root cause, and you're focusing on fixing the root cause, but you just say, well, yeah, in the meantime, I'll just not care about if I go on my phone because that's just not the problem. Well, it's probably not going to push you in the right direction because it's your way out. It's been your distraction. It fills the void. It helps you in this way. It just gets rid of the problem altogether, so there's nothing pushing you there. These emotions, like loneliness, for example, like in the example I just gave, if you're not getting enough social interaction or enough quality social interaction, you probably will feel alone. And feeling alone sucks. It absolutely is a crushing feeling. This is why you feel it. This is exactly why you feel it, because it's crushing. And back in the day, when there wasn't just an easy way to hear anyone say anything, watch any amount of distraction that could possibly be, well, this loneliness pushed people into starting conversations, going out of their comfort zone, finding other people. If you feel lonely and it's crushing you and you have no way out, you're gonna do something about it. But if you take the easy way out and just distract, well, then you don't even give yourself a chance to realize that it is affecting you. It is a problem. I find there's a difference between knowing and understanding. You can sit here and hear all this information that I'm telling you, or that I'm just simply giving my perspective on something, and you can know that, but understanding it takes effort. It takes action. Even to understand something, you have to do something about something. So if you look at your life and pick any addiction, doesn't have to be big or small, just anything, because we all have something. There might even be something that you want to do more of. What's a good habit? And what's pushing you towards a good habit? Because you can look at this in the opposite way too. A symptom of something positive is going to push you towards something more positive. How can you maximize getting the symptom? That's a great thing. That's a great way to look at it. Are you going to do something about it? If you look at the habits you have in your life, bad or good, things you want to change, are you willing to be in the uncomfortable position? Because changing is uncomfortable. Changing is emotionally painful. It doesn't feel good. But it gets us what we truthfully want instead of a perception of what we want. It doesn't give us the quick fix that is just going to make it feel like that everything's okay. It's actually going to be okay. But for that, you have to face the fact that maybe it hasn't been okay for a long time. And maybe I have to do something about it. And that feels crushing. It's very difficult to do. But if you don't, where are you going to end up? That's the question that I have to ask you. This question I have to ask myself. I continually ask myself, am I ready to change? Am I making the action? Because I have to stay on top of it. It's not something that you just decide one day. It's not something that you achieve. It's something that you maintain. It's something that you continually put work into to show yourself, okay, I'm actually changing. I am facing an uncomfortable situation in order to better my life, in order to change in a truthful way and not just change in the way that can be seen on Instagram, you know? There's a deeper change there that can happen. So I'm going to take a quick look through my notes, but I believe I hit pretty much everything I want to talk about. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And as I am going to sit back and watch the beautiful sunset in Croatia, I'm going to leave you with the fact that you can like the video if you want to like it. You can dislike the video if you want to dislike it. You can comment if you have anything to talk about, because I feel like especially this topic has a lot, there could be a lot of discussion, and I love discussion, so please question me. Please pick at my brain. Please confront me if you have something to talk about, and I'd love to try to talk about it. This is my whole thing, is trying to understand myself through the fact of explaining it, sitting down here and actually talking about it, because I could have all these thoughts in my head and think I'm right, but if I can't actually explain that to anyone else, then am I ever truthfully right? So and it's not even a competition about being right or not. It's just trying to understand my own brain, how I work. For me, it's important to be able to take this time and sit down here and be in front of the camera, which is also uncomfortable. It's not the easiest thing to do, not the easiest thing to always find time for, always know what I want to talk about, but the consistency has been really nice, you know? I heard this quote a few days ago that the most consistent thing is the passing of time, And if you are able to keep up with the consistency of the passing of time, which means you show up every single time you say you're going to show up, and you can look at 100 days worth of data and say, yeah, every single time I was there, I am moving like clockwork. That's powerful. And I can look back and say I've done that for this podcast. Every single time I needed to show up, I've showed up. I've filmed the thing. I haven't always posted on time. Today will actually be posted on time, which is crazy. That means I brought my laptop to Croatia for you guys and for other things. But think about it for you guys, so that I could post this video here. That's an extra couple kilos. I think like 2 kilos probably. Think about that. I'm doing it for you. Alright, I'm rambling enough. This isn't important. I'm going to pick this up and show you guys the sunset real quick. I don't usually do this, but you take a look at that. It's pretty bright. Would you take a look at that? Life's pretty good. It's not perfect. We're still working. But I'm done happy with it. Alright. See ya.